Today we're diving into a vlogger's take on the political powder keg in Pakistan. We're going to look at what's really fueling the anger on the ground, and more importantly, a really key distinction he makes between simple mobilization and a full-on street movement. So let's jump right in. This right here, this quote really sets the tone for everything. The source claims a Pakistani judge actually said this to Imran Khan's sister. Now, whether it's true or not, it's a stunning thing to hear. And it points to this idea of immense pressure inside the country's core institutions, a theme we'll see pop up again and again. So here's how we're going to unpack all this. First, we'll look at the alleged pressure on the system itself. Then, we'll define that core idea, movement versus mobilization. After that, we'll dig into the real human grievances from the provinces, touch on the claims of propaganda, and wrap it all up with what the source calls the establishment's impossible situation. All right, first up, the bedrock of the entire argument. This idea that there's a fundamental breakdown happening in the rule of law, putting incredible strain on both ordinary people and the institutions meant to protect them. I mean, just look at some of these claims from the source. We're talking about women protesters allegedly disappearing after being arrested, police seizing cars and then demanding bribes to release them, and of course, Imran Khan being held in solitary, completely cut off. According to the vlogger, this paints a picture of a system that's being used not for justice, but for control.
Okay, this next part is the real heart of the vlogger's analysis. He argues that almost everyone is misunderstanding what's happening on the streets right now because they're confusing two very, very different things.
First, you've got mobilization. This is what the source says we're seeing today. It's the rallies, the marches, the big public gatherings in places like Azad Kashmir and Baluchistan. The goal here is to create visuals, to build energy, to show strength. It's absolutely essential, but it's just the groundwork. It's setting the stage.
A street movement, on the other hand, is a whole different animal. The source describes this as a meticulously organized, almost military-style operation. Every single person has a job to do, a place to be, and a specific time to act. It's a coordinated strategy, not just a protest. And the vlogger's main point is, this hasn't even started yet.
And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. Mobilization is about building momentum with rallies. A movement is about executing a precise plan. According to the source, what we're all watching right now is just the warm-up act. The main event, he claims, could be something else entirely.
So what's actually fueling all this mobilization? Why are people so angry? Well, now we shift from the theory to the very real human cost that the source claims is driving this unrest, especially in places like Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
Wow. I mean, the source drops this bombshell of a quote from a senator, Khurram Zishan. This isn't just political disagreement he's talking about. He's framing this as a conflict rooted in ethnic identity with the most severe consequences imaginable. It's an incredibly powerful and heavy claim.
And to support this view, the vlogger highlights these really heartbreaking images of families being displaced from the Tira Valley. You see them fleeing in beat-up cars, all of their possessions just bundled up. This visual, he argues, directly flies in the face of official narratives that supposedly paint these people as rich smugglers getting wealthy off the chaos. Which leads to this very pointed, very sharp question that the source poses. He's basically saying, look at these pictures of poverty and desperation, and then listen to the official story. If these people are really smuggling billionaires, then where did all the money go? It just doesn't add up. You know, this idea of clashing narratives brings us right to our next section. The vlogger's claims about how propaganda and disinformation are allegedly being used to shape what people think and to cover up some major problems. Let's start with a practical example. The source points out the total absurdity of having major power outages in the winter when Pakistan actually has the capacity to produce double the electricity it needs. So what's the problem? He alleges it's corrupt contracts that pay power plants even when they're offline, creating a completely artificial crisis. The power is there, he says, but the system is rigged. Now for something way more direct. The source presents this image and claims it's a fake. It allegedly shows a politician standing on an ajrak, which is a really important, culturally significant shawl in Sindh. The vlogger's argument is that this was done on purpose, specifically to stir up ethnic anger and division.
And then, bam, he shows what he claims is the real photo. No shawl, just flowers at the politician's feet. By showing these side by side, the source makes a powerful case that images are being actively weaponized to manipulate public opinion.
The vlogger then zooms in on a public figure, engineer Muhammad Ali Mirza, as a kind of case study. The source levels a whole list of accusations at him. Hypocrisy, turning a blind eye to disappearances, flip-flopping on Imran Khan. The whole point is to present him as an example of a public voice that, in the vlogger's view, has lost its credibility.
So all of this, the pressure, the anger, the alleged propaganda, it all builds to this final section. This is the vlogger's analysis of the political endgame, which he sees as a strategic trap with no escape for the establishment, all centered around Imran Khan.
And this quote just captures the entire dilemma perfectly. The argument is that by arresting Khan, the establishment has painted itself into a corner. It's a classic damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Both choices, keeping him jailed or setting him free, are presented as leading to their own kind of disaster.
So let's break down this political checkmate. Step 1, keep Khan behind bars. The risk? Public anger just keeps growing and growing until it explodes into something they can't control. Step 2, let him go. The risk there? He comes out seeking accountability, which is a direct threat to the people in power. The conclusion, according to the source, is a total stalemate they can't win.
And that leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question from the source. He's suggesting that maybe, for Imran Khan, getting arrested wasn't a defeat. Maybe it wasn't the end of his plan. Maybe it was the beginning. And that really makes you wonder what the next move in this political chess game is going to be.